Hello, 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 everybody. First thing first, Sherise Earth, let me know that y'all are actually hearing me good. Let me know if there's any echo. Let's make sure my mic is working before we bring on the amazing lineup that we have for y'all today. Who's ready for today's live, y'all? Hello, hello, show out in the chat who's ready for today's live. We have an amazing lineup for y'all. Let me know in the chat how everything's good. Love it. Thank you so much for always joining. So welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode on Success with the Stars. As y'all already know, my name is Sherise Fierce and I am always your freaking host. So today we have a great lineup and we're going to be talking all about Jupiter and Gemini. We're going to be having some advice for the millennials. We may also have a little bit of controversy when it comes to Jupiter and Gemini and what you guys have already seen out there. So definitely sit back, get ready to go through some controversy, go through some unconventional opinions, because that's why we have these astrologers here. Y'all know that we choose the best, the brightest to come on here and give y'all the tea and to tell y'all the things that not everyone is willing to say. So happy Gemini full moon. Y'all already know. Drop your Gemini house in the chat. Drop your Gemini placement. That's how we always get started. Happy Gemini new moon, y'all. So happy to have you guys here with us as we debut, we're not debuting something new, but we are doing something new since it is a Gemini full moon. So before I even talk anymore, let's bring on the people that we are, here to see. So first and foremost, let me just make sure I have my little sound. Where is my clapping? Perfect. So join me in welcoming. She's been here before. She is a fan favorite. Y'all know her. She is the bad bitch activator, our resident bruja. Join me in welcoming motherfucking Lotus Elysse. Thank you. So today we have a new person. So new to the channel. Well, not new to the channel, but new to the panel, but not new to the game. Join me, everyone, in welcoming the one and only Shirley Whirley.
Hi guys.
So let's see the chat really quickly. So we have 2 more people who are supposed to join us today. Thank you. We have Boro, the lucky Libra, but he's currently late. He's gonna be here. He's gonna be here within the next 10 minutes, he said. And sadly, we have some sad news. Umi couldn't make it today. She had some last-minute changes with her children's school schedule. School is done today, so she's not gonna be able to make it. So we started with some bad news. But just know Boro's here. He's ready to come. He's gonna come within the next 10 minutes and we will start. Ooh, I'm so happy to see so many faces that so many names that I know. Gemini in the 10th house, Gemini rising. Love to see y'all. So excited. Shirley Whirley, Global Mobile. Hi. So let's start. Yeah, let's start with, we'll start actually with a quick transit check. We could start with you, Lotus, and then you can go, Shirls. Let's start with a quick transit check, just like where are we today? What are the transits today? What's the energy like today? I know it's the new moon, but still give the people the tea.
Mm-hmm. So we have a super duper stellium in Gemini right now, and like Sherise said, we are having the new moon in Gemini, and I'm really excited for this one because of the possibilities of what you can plant with this new moon. Really could sprout so many things that even 6 months from now, when we have the full moon in sorry, I can't even think. When we have the full moon in Sag, and it's at is a 6 months completion. Like there's still transits there. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, it's very good energy. I feel like this is one of the best new moons of the year. I'm really excited for this one, to be honest. We've got Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus, and then the sun and moon all in the sign of Gemini today. So this is really giving us the Magician card energy. And I know a lot of people are talking about the Lovers card for this transit, but it's really about the Magician card for this new moon. And like, I really want people to spend some time in stillness and really tap in, because there's a lot of high active, high octane mental energy where your thoughts can really manifest in the physical, like very quickly. So today is a great day to really be mindful of where your mind goes, to be grounded, to really speak affirmations, like words are spells today with all of this Gemini energy. Like, do something to get the anxiety out, do something to get the magic out, and like really just speak magic over yourself today. Like for real, it like all of this Gemini energy with all of the good planets hanging out together. It's just like, it's just really exciting. I don't know.
Sure, let's go ahead. What is the transits? What are we sitting on? What are the degrees? Let us know what's happening right now in the cosmos.
Well, not to be long-winded, Gemini ways. But yeah, I like this new moon is amazing. Not only is it like for the 6 months, like we're gonna have Uranus in Gemini by 2026. So really what you're looking at is an expansion on your ideas. Because Gemini is the mind. So on basic terms, Gemini is always gonna rule your mindset, new communication, new alliances. Look, TikTok, we never thought it was going to get here. Social media, gossip. Who would have thought that you making videos about gossip would get you money, you know? So these are kind of the things, like you starting new projects, starting new training, this is the fun part, I call it, because Saturn is still direct. Jupiter is in Gemini, so he's excited to be in this new sign. Even though it's in his fall, it's still expansion of something, it's Gemini things. So if you are working in the speaking, the business, the media, you was looking for jobs, skill sets, making money off of your skills, your talking, your hands, walking, literally the basics. And it's so symbolic. Like I always say, it's what's above, so below. So look at New York. We were going to get charged to drive. So basically, Gemini's short distance driving. We were going to get charged to go from basically, it's only 13 miles, by the way, guys. New York City, the Manhattan is only 13 miles. They wanted us to pay for like 4 miles, $16 to go down to the downtown. And I mean, I kept hearing that news, but I didn't pay no mind because Jupiter is the planet of expansion, baby. There is no way you're gonna tell me you're gonna restrict, short trips. But then I do want to, this is great. So, like I said, slow and steady. We do need to relax because the new moon is actually next to Venus. It's like the planet right after. Like Venus is in between the new moon, so it always so the new moon together make that new luminary or makes the planting of the seed, and whatever is kind of next to them or touching them is coming along. So Venus coming alongside, great for money. Venus thinks we don't got So there is a lucrative world, and it's all in the air area, which is communications, honestly. Whether you talk, whether you minister talking, like, but anyways, that's me. That's the short term of these transit right now.
I love that. I resonate so much with that. And crazy, crazy what you're talking about New York. I feel like New York has been under the spotlight for a little bit lately. Any Gemini placements in New York, or like what's going on with New York?
Oh, New York. Oh, sorry. New York is Pluto in Libra. Pluto in Gemini, Neptune in Gemini, and something else is in Gemini. But it's because if you think about it, Gemini rules small creatures like rats. Pluto is toxic. You get it? Something Plutonian, something that really honestly, the rats take over the streets, which is Gemini is literally walking the streets. Pluto is toxic walking there, you know? But yeah, so places like the East Coast is going to trend, or it's going to be back. I mean, we're always trending, but it's going to be back lively because we're the Gemini. The West Coast is more Sagittarius. But yeah, I'm sorry.
No, very interesting, very interesting. So we're gonna start playing a little game. We're gonna, cause it's Gemini. We gotta start with like some games, and we gotta do something different because it's a Gemini new moon, and hopefully Boro will join us by then. So hold on, let me just share my screen really quickly. But my first question for my astrologers here today is, if you couldn't be your sign, what other sign would you choose to be? So I know we love our chart and our chart, but if you couldn't be your sign, what other sign would you choose to be and why? Who wants to go first?
That is a hard question because I really do chart now. So I couldn't be like any of my big three, like pick something totally different is what you're saying? Okay, pick something different. I feel like I would probably be one of my other fixed signs, to be honest. I feel like I would be Scorpio or Aquarius. I really love both of those signs as my fellow fixed signs. I really appreciate Scorpio as my sister sign. But I really love how Aquarius just is so they really bring people together of all walks of life. And something that like I like to, someone that always comes to mind is of course Megan Thee Stallion. And like even if you look at Meg's concert, like she brings out the goth girls, the BBL girls, the city girls, the baddies, the nerds, the anime girls, like everyone literally comes together to shake their ass and have a great time at Megan's show. And so I love how Aquarius really like connects everyone from all walks of life. And yeah, I feel like I would go with Aquarius. Do I have to pick like my full top three or like just
that is good.
Okay.
Charles, who would you be?
Okay, so I would be dang. Well, this is a Venusian world. So I would want to be something that has like Venus in the 10th house. So I look Venusian all the time. So like maybe a Capricorn sun, but I will take Aquarius placement, but I will take like a Venus, like I'll take Aquarius placements, Mercury, Venus, because like Rihanna has an Aquarius placement and everybody like I said, Aquarius is groups. So you're always going to get a group of people that are going to go ride or die with you. So if I had to, it would definitely, in my big three, I would either have Capricorn or between Aquarius, but then Sag has to come along because
yes,
it's just
choose between Aquarius or Sag.
But I could.
This would be more fun.
But I can't. I can't have a Sag sun. I would have like a maybe a Sag Venus or a rising. Because the sun burns things out and overdoes the thing for everything, like sun and Taurus, everything. Sun and Libra does it, you know. So I'd rather be like, if I didn't, the only sun sign that I would definitely try, maybe in Aries. Aries they're cool, they're bold. Like if I had to be a sun sign, it'd be in the exalted version, and then like cool placements of like Aquarius, something. And like an Aquarius, Mercury, and I don't know how I would get a Venus and Sag, but hopefully maybe a Venus and Sag or a rising sign and Sag.
I asked for like one placement, she gives us like the whole chart. I love that. Okay, it's interesting. You both said Aquarius. If I had to be another sign other than my Sag Sun, Aries rising, Scorpio moon, I think I would go for a Libra placement. Like you said, we are in a Venusian world, and I miss a lot of air in my chart. And Saturn is exalted in Libra. Like Libra are the billionaires, the most millionaires, and I'm like, I need a Libra placement. Like I would come back with some Libra Venus energy. I'm mad Martian and Plutonic, and I feel like life is just hard. Like you know Oprah and that's just like all my life I had to fight. I feel like that's me. I feel like that's me. So I would definitely come through with some Venusian energy. And then maybe like a Venus in Aquarius or something like that to like spice it up. For sure. Let us know in the chat if you can come back as a sign. What sign would it be and why? So let us know your sign in the chat and what sign you would actually come back as. Wait, no, repeat that. We didn't hear you.
Someone says that they're Aqua Sun, Sag Venus, and that's like what me and Shirley picked. I have a friend who is this placement too, but they're a Pisces moon, so I'm not really sure how I feel about that for him, but I like the Sag Venus.
All right, so I'm trying to share my screen on the other side here, but it's not showing. It was like a little trivia. Let's see if it works. Let's present. I know y'all seen. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna do a little trivia, and I want to see if y'all know your placements, my astrologers. If you know your celebrities, basically, is what.
I'm celebrity.
Yes, if you know your celebrities. So, do you know your celebrities? So we have 3 Gemini musicians right here. And I want to see if y'all know, if you could match up each of their placements to them. And for the audience as well, let us know. So we have A, B, and C. So you could tell me, like, I'll give you 1 minute to place them, and you could give me your final answer. Let me see if I have some like mysterious music. Not mysterious at all.
Wait, how are we gonna?
Okay, so do you want me to explain some more?
No, how are we gonna submit our answers at the same time?
No. Well, I'll just call on you and you tell me your answer. You ready?
Okay, yes, sure.
Alright, okay. Alright, so hold on. Let me see what the audience says. Audience, let me know in which order. So you have to go in the order of the photo. Who is A, who is B, and who is C? Okay. So I would say first, okay, hold on. Cheryl and Lotus, so submit your answers in the private chat. I want to make sure none of y'all are cheating and you're not changing your answers last minute. Submit it in the private chat, okay? Write it, and then I'm gonna count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you all could put it. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all say your answers. Go ahead, Cheryl. We can hear you.
I'm sorry, I messed up. I was writing it out. Okay, my fault. I'm sorry. I was writing it out. Shoot. Okay, so Prince is going to be a C. Princess C. Then what's his name? Oh, what's his name? What's Kendrick is B. And then the other young lady, I'm gonna just assume she's A. I thought she was Doja Cat, but I think she's George.
I don't know who she is. You're muted, girl.
Oh, thanks. I said, yeah, I should have put their names. I just assumed everyone knew. Yeah, it's Georgia. So, just to be sure, Cheryl said C is Prince, B is Kendrick, and A is Georgia. Okay. What do you say, Lotus?
I think it's definitely rising. I just think pretty to not be the Libra rising. So I think he's the Libra rising, Gemini Sun, Pisces Moon. Kendrick got to be the Scorpio rising. And then I don't know this woman, so I just did process of elimination. So she's the Virgo Moon.
I guys don't know Georgia Smith. Like, she's pretty big.
I know some songs. I don't know
know
the artist by sight. Like a lot of times I've never even watched their music video. I don't know. Or like look them up or things like this. I don't know. But I know music.
All right, so let me check into the audience and see what's happening. So we said C is Prince, B is Kendrick, A is the other girl, Kendrick is A, Prince is C, Prince is C. So we have a lot of Prince is C, and we have Kendrick is A. So a drum roll, y'all. Let me actually give y'all the real answer. So, whoa, hold on. I think I went too quick. So this is the actual. So Shirley was right.
Damn, he's right.
Yeah, Shirley was right, and then there was someone else in the chat who was right. Chelsea Daniel, great job. C is Prince, B was Kendrick, and A was Georgia Smith. I couldn't find her rising for the life of me. I really wanted to have everyone's rising, but I couldn't have it. I was on crunch time, so I had to pick. But yeah, like
it makes
sorry,
my bad. So just because, so I just always know Prince is Scorpio rising because look at his face. He's always looking mean. And then I already knew Kendrick was a Pisces moon. So I was like, he has to be B, and, you know. And Georgia Smith is funny because I don't really know her. I don't remember her chart, but her sun and moon are squaring each other, which is why I notice how she's not laughing either. Like they're not really happy all the time. Anyways, but that's my tea.
And see, I was thinking like similar, but like Prince got that pretty face, the oval face. He also is very fashionista. And resting bitch face is very much like a Venus thing, a Libra thing, a Taurus thing, earth sign thing. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess, yeah, he's got the intensity of the eyes and all of that.
And Leo would be like his 10th house, so that would make him glamorous. 10th house of public image, looking so extreme glamorous.
Yeah.
And he scammed the music system too.
No, it makes sense. I definitely thought that y'all was gonna get the Prince one. I was like, is it too easy, the Prince one? Because I definitely feel like he gets Scorpio ascendant. And a good point, Charles, with the Leo moon. It just shows. It just shows. All right. So my last question for y'all. Hold on, let me see. Boro just texted, said he's here. I don't see him. Hold on. My last question, I did want Boro to be part of this one, so let's see. By the way, are you guys liking the trivia? That's all I have for the trivia. I didn't want to like totally put too much things, but if you guys like that, I will definitely like do it more next time. Someone said he, someone repeated what you said. He scammed the music system. All right, so hold on, let me just.
Who scammed the music?
Prince.
How?
He didn't want to. What was it? Okay, he was in a deal. He wanted to break out of the deal. Him and what's his name? Oh my God, Frank Ocean did the same thing. They wanted to get out the deal, so what they did a mediocre album. Both of them did, and then which is Taurus in their 7th house, and then they end up leaving the contract and being able to get their money back or some. Basically, yes.
Yeah, they locked them. Where they have to make like 8 fucking albums and shit, and it's like, what the hell? Like,
that's why he didn't put music out for a while.
Shit, and let me get out of here.
That's why he stopped making music. Scorpio. That's such a like, fuck it. I will destroy myself as long as no one's making money out of this. I don't care.
Right. As long as we both go down.
Yep, mutual self-destruction. Mutual destruction. Definitely Scorpio. All right, so our last game, and then we're gonna get into the Jupiter and Gemini. It's for the audience actually, and then we can all take turns. But first, I want everyone here to put their Jupiter down in the chat. Put your Jupiter placement down in the chat. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go around and we're going to guess the Jupiter placement of the, not you, Elysse. Everybody as in the audience. It's okay, I deleted. Maybe no one saw. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around and we're going to guess the Jupiter placements of the astrologers here today. Okay, so on this team, sitting pretty here today, we have a Jupiter in Pisces, a Jupiter in Libra, and a Jupiter in Scorpio. And it is up to you, dear audience, to judge who is who and to pick out who is who, right? So we have A, B, and C. So we have a Jupiter in Pisces. Let me just make sure I can put that up. Jupiter in Pisces, Jupiter in Scorpio, and Jupiter in Libra. Who is who? Okay, so let me put that up on the screen for y'all. I put a little music while we wait. And let's see what y'all say. So we have one right answer so far. Only one person got it right. I'm not gonna say who it is, but only one person got it right. What's funny is no one saw your post, Elysse. People said Shirley is Jupiter in Libra for sure. Somebody saying Jupiter in Scorpio. Someone saying Shirley Scorpio. Yellow is Lotus, y'all. I put it back on. I put our names on the screen. And host is Libra. Okay. Sherise, Jupiter in Pisces. Lotus, Jupiter in Libra. Shirley, Jupiter in Scorpio. Jupiter in Scorpio is Lotus, and Jupiter in Pisces is Shirley. Y'all are not that great. Okay, hold on. So let's do the reveal. I'm gonna do the reveal by putting it on our names. So continue. Let's see who gets it. Can I put it in the name? Let me see if I can adjust your names. No, I can't. Alright, so Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter in Libra. Can you say hi to the people? So we have me and Lotus. Oh wait, let's see who came in here. Whoa!
Yo. Shirley, Lotus. Everybody.
Thank you for joining us. So we have an extra. So we have two more people on the screen. So we have one Jupiter in Libra that is out of the game. So now we have me and Lotus. Who is the Jupiter in Scorpio and who is the Jupiter in Pisces, y'all? People said Lotus, Jupiter in Scorpio.
Everyone keeps Jupiter and Scorpio.
Oh my god, I love it. Let's see what they said. Boro, we can't do yours because it'll be obvious now. If you came in like,
guessing game.
Yeah, we're guessing everyone's Jupiter. But what I would do, you know our charts? I would say you can guess it at the end, but okay, everyone's saying Lotus is Scorpio. So Jupiter in Pisces. Can you tell yourself to the people? Show yourself to the people. Say hi. So that leaves a Jupiter and Scorpio, y'all, and that is me. I think Lotus gives like mad Scorpio energy. That's why everyone was like, Jupiter and Scorpio is Lotus. Jupiter and Scorpio is Lotus. And we have one more Jupiter and Libra in the building. Say hi.
Yo. Body, big Jupiter, air.
You're cutting out, Boro. We don't hear you. Wait, just repeat what you said.
Hello. Y'all can hear me now? Okay. Nah, I just said big Jupiter and Libra air gang. Shout out to everybody in the building. Big air gang.
All right, so just to repeat, we have Jupiter and Scorpio. We have Lotus, that is Jupiter in Pisces. We have Charles, that is Jupiter in Libra, and Boro, Jupiter in Libra, the twins below. All right, so let's get started. Boro, you joined us at the right. I mean, you missed all the fun and games, but we're gonna get started in Jupiter and Gemini, y'all, and the year ahead. So, as well, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for playing games with us. And now we're gonna get down into the nitty gritty. So, my first question for my astrologers here today. Let me even see where we should even start off. I would just say, what are your hopes for this Jupiter in? No, actually, what I'm going to ask is, what are some of the benefits that you think we will see with Jupiter being in Gemini? And we can go Lotus first, Charles second, Boro third. Ladies first, of course.
So some benefits of Gemini is going to be connections, more connecting with people, being more social, maybe putting yourself out there more. It's also hopefully going to help increase optimism in people, help you expand your mental faculties, and maybe encourage you to tap into learning something new. The axis of Sagittarius and Gemini is all about learning and various aspects of the mind. Gemini is typically like the lower mind and Sag is the higher mind, but Gemini is still very important. This is also hopefully going to help us get in touch with our inner child. Gemini is like our younger years. And this is just a great time to really just put yourself out there and try new things, especially if you are someone who knows a lot of information about a lot of different things. This is the time where you want to experiment and see what people like, see what people resonate with. This is a great time to share the things that you're passionate and interested about, because you could really align with your tribe. You could find people who are like-minded. You could apparently, yes, you can find you can align with mentors, with gurus, with people that can help be your guide towards you getting to the destination that you are sort of putting the final details on now. Like with this new moon, you're planting a seed for where this next journey is taking you, because Gemini is also about movement. And with that, with Jupiter in the mix and Venus and all of these things, it's helping you call in the things that you need to physically get there, to mentally get there, and grow and expand, and all of the things.
Charles, what do you think we're gonna get from? What are some of the benefits you think we're gonna get from having Jupiter and Gemini?
So I was thinking about it like I always say this: the government took away all of our senses, so we're always getting things back. Like I feel like since the pandemic, we done got our stability back, some of our time back. Saturn. Like a lot of people are doing the entrepreneurship life. Jupiter was just in Taurus. There was a major highlight on the finance. Our food, our quality of life, because Taurus was about value systems and stuff like that. So now that Gemini's around, Gemini's really all these thoughts to your mind. We have a bunch of information online. There's a bunch of information. I feel like the Gemini Jupiter is going to show you how to apply it into your lifestyle, because Jupiter's still like a journey. Like, think about they're still both the travel ones. Jupiter's the planet of travel. Gemini short distance travel. Like, don't be surprised if Jupiter and Taurus food stuff was trending. Now it's road trips, because Gemini rules these things. You know what I mean? Social media people become important now. They get ranked up because Jupiter is putting these people in a higher class in a way. So these are the things, we're going to applying these wisdoms. We're going to see actions in our momentum in our life in that sense. But again, at some point, literally, that's only for a little bit, because then Jupiter's going to square Saturn and Pisces. So you're going to have a battle between what you want to do and then what you have to do, because Saturn is things that we have to do. And let's say you plan a trip, you think you outside, and then but a job calls you. Gemini, where's your priorities at now? Where's your mindset at? There's a battle between what your mind wants and your heart. If you put Gemini in the rising, Leo's their third house, which again is back to the mind. So Leo's the heart. When a Gemini communicates, so that's you're gonna see a lot of people that communicate really fast and loud, because that's all. Like, Gemini's got to get these ideas out. They want to be exciting, But that's my thing. I feel like with this transit is a new beginning. It is going to be some type of expansion, and I can't wait for it, because I'm a freaking I have an entire trine in air. So whenever the universe wants to born me somewhere, thank you, God.
Is it me?
I guess.
My bad.
I was looking at the screen. I'm like, someone's missing, but it was me.
Do I still have
Do
an
I
echo?
still have an echo? So what happens is that when we're talking, if someone else is talking, you gotta mute because you'll have an echo. But no, you're good. You don't have an echo when you speak. So go ahead, Boro. Tell us, what benefits do you see Jupiter and Gemini bringing for us?
Yeah, Jupiter's purpose is always to come in and see how it could explore something, gain more experience, and bring expansion to things. But Gemini, yes, is an air, so this is automatically going to bring an influence for all of us to deal with a new sense of interaction, new opportunities, meeting new people in the house that we have Gemini in, and just with Jupiter being in Gemini in general. But with Jupiter dealing with travel and expansion, and this Gemini Sagittarius axis naturally being one of the axis dealing with movement and communication, I think what's going to be going on here is, with Jupiter in a sign, expanding a sign that's dealing with what's local. Gemini is dealing with what's local, our surroundings. So we're going to see, certain groups, certain cultures start mixing and intertwining. I know this happened like a month ago. This happened like a month ago. So this is actually before Jupiter got into Gemini. I seen like Sexy Red on the stage. A big country artist brought her out. So we might see intermingling of like different cultures in different type of spaces in some type of shape or form. But you're gonna see the rise of something that was really small in the community. So it could be a rap group. It could be something else dealing with another industry, but it's going to have a story with it, with these 3 people, these 4 people came from this neighborhood and built this. It's going to be a lot of these stories. And what I think is the most important thing about the interaction aspect with Jupiter and Gemini, because Gemini is local and is dealing with more so close-knit surroundings, the house that you have like Gemini in or whatnot, we're going to be attracting the partnerships and relationships to help support what Jupiter's expanding on in that house. So, yes, social activity, people shooting more opinions and communicating things, and in general, we're going to see that natural display of energy. But when it comes into like, how Jupiter is influencing your life and what's supposed to be expansive in the area that it's in, you're going to get relationships just for that. So if you're like Gemini in the 4th house or something, you might not have the most interactive Jupiter and Gemini transit, but you may meet a lot of new significant relationships to help you deal with fourth house like things, emotional mental regulation, things close to home. So that's how I really look at this transit. And also a lot of potentially a lot of like cult like situations coming together, like almost like Nature Boy and his little cult. We might see a little situation like that again, people building new belief systems, trying to expand it into other communities, but they're honoring the fuck out of it in their little area. So we might see a little bit of influence like that as well. But you can never, Gemini is one of the most unpredictable signs in the zodiac. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that's about to be thrown in the air as far as different programs that they want the collective to have to adapt to mentally, and people are going to have to be able to communicate and relate so we could rise above anything that's thrown on us.
Really interesting point you made about the little cults popping up, and because we're seeing a lot of people also going to live on like communes or like little communities and shit like that. So most definitely might have some little cults popping up everywhere. Before we move on, Boro, one of the things we asked each one of us earlier was, if you could not be your sign, which sign would you choose and why? And you can't be your sun, moon, or rising. So we're just gonna have your answer. It's gonna make it feel complete, and then we can move on.
All right, yeah, that's pretty. I'd be an Aries. To be honest with you. Like, them niggas just do whatever they want. They don't care. And sometimes I'm like, damn, I would really love to experience how it is just going through the world and just being that tunnel vision in on my own personal outlook about something. And then they mad durable and resilient. And sometimes when I bump into an obstacle or something, I'd be ready to take a nap, go to sleep. So shout out to them Aries.
Love that. It's crazy because it's the opposite of your sign. So you really trying to come back next life like full force, my nigga. Okie dokie. So my second question, and this is where I hope it gets a little controversial. Every time I see Jupiter and Gemini, it seems like it's just also positive. But then I'm like, isn't Jupiter like in fall in Gemini? So I'm like, why are we not talking about that? Why are we not, like, everybody's just like Lotus was saying earlier, it's the Lover's card, it's this. We're talking all about the positive aspects. But then I'm like, there is probably going to be, and plus Gemini is dual, negative aspects of Jupiter and Gemini as well. So how does that change things? The fact that Jupiter is fall in Gemini, how does that change even some of the predictions and some of the things that you think Jupiter and Gemini will bring? And I'll start with you, Lotus.
I think that, well, first of all, in tarot, Jupiter and Gemini is actually the Eight of Swords. So if you are familiar with tarot, or if you've ever had a tarot reading, think about this card. And it literally is a woman with a blindfold and her hands tied behind her back, and she's surrounded by 8 swords in the ground, right? And what it is like being your own worst enemy, feeling victimized, feeling helpless. I oftentimes, when this comes up in a reading, I tell someone that you are feeling like a damsel in distress. You want someone to come save you. You're feeling powerless, paralyzed, imprisoned, all of these kinds of things. And oftentimes they can be self-imposed prisons because it's sword energy, and all the swords are pointing at the native in the card. So it's really like expanding wherever your mental health is at this moment. And I think that that's what people really need to take into account. The reason that it's in fall is Vedic astrology, Jupiter and Mercury are enemies. And these are lessons that I learned from Shirley, just like Mercury and the moon are enemies in astrology. And that's also plays a part into why this is in its fall, because like Gemini is, first of all, it's like Jupiter is in the opposite sign of its rulership. That also makes it in fall because he's opposite Sagittarius. But Gemini oftentimes is a collector of a lot of different little things and doesn't really fully master or become like the professor of one particular thing. And so oftentimes, and I'm guilty of this too, because I have several placements in Gemini, I'll know a lot of shit about a lot of different things, but there's not, I mean, now I would consider myself more master in certain subjects, but I know a lot of things about a lot of little things. And I feel like that's also part of where the detriment comes in, because you never focus on one thing to really deep dive and become the master of it. You're just like ADD. I need the next dopamine hit, next dopamine hit, next dopamine hit. And you're just like flooding your brain with stuff, and nothing is really like sticking or growing or whatever. And so I think that's also where part of the detriment element comes in.
I most definitely feel like Jupiter and Gemini is not going to help the ADHD brains for sure. Like you're definitely going to have to focus this time, and that might be a little bit hard with a Jupiter and Gemini. But go ahead, Shirley. Let us know. Since Jupiter is fall in Gemini, what do you think that will? How does that change things?
You know, I used to, because I like, you know, I love looking at astrology and like history and stuff like that. And then what I've realized is when you get Jupiter in a sign, you get to really understand that zodiac sign like a lot. You get to really observe. So what, like observe it, like really get to it. So one of my things that I'm seeing is maybe just the Gemini way, meaning like you start a lot of stuff, and you say yes to everything. Yes, 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 yes. Gemini, because you want to be Gemini's curiosity. So it's just a bunch of people, you know, for instance, that are going to try astrology for the first time, or Gemini things for the first time, coding and stuff like that, you know. And even back in history, like when I went to go back to like understand what was going on, the last two times Jupiter was in Gemini was 2012, 2013, and then back to 2000 and 2001. And I'm looking at that timeline, like Hurricane Sandy happened, which is weather stuff. Now, the mutables always bring weather changes. That's a thing, because they're the ending of a thing. They're the so you know the zodiac is cardinal, fixed, mutable. So they're gonna finish things off, wipe things off. So it's very funny to me because we're seeing a season grand finale of Neptune, of like Neptune being in Pisces since 2012. You know, so I feel like if Mother Nature wanted to show who she was, she's coming. Like she's like, and then I feel like Gemini is gonna talk about it. There's gonna be a buzz about it. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the news, Gemini is the messenger. The news has been trashed the last couple of years. You notice that? Like I don't know if this before. I don't. Everybody used to be addicted to the news. Like, oh my God, did you see the news? They just said this person got shot at, but we weren't really like entertaining these things. Even news reporter were entertaining. Like, oh, everybody knew who was the Channel 9 news reporter. Now you don't. But with Jupiter and Gemini, you will, you know? So, like, for instance, there was like, remember, I don't know if you guys remember WikiLeaks, or remember that guy who leaked a lot of like information and he had to go to another country. And even the 9/11 happened when Jupiter was in Gemini, which, but the last time Saturn and Pluto were involved with that whole thing. So now Saturn is involved, but is it more of a water energy? And you know, Pisces is a delusion. So maybe we can see the government still trying to play a trap on us. You know what I mean? Because, and then like, you know, and then scandals of little, and we're gonna leak information. Like this is, you know how they always predict, oh, we're gonna have leaked information. No, this is the time. Think about that. Like we might get the actual real. I feel if you guys haven't noticed, like it's like we're winding into this ending, and the ending is 2026. So all we're doing is gossiping about it or chattering about it, you know. So I think the fall will just be. The fall is really just us seeing that Gemini overexerts themselves in their pending karmas. Like you know, every planet has a karma. You're gonna see what happened, why they say kill the messenger, right? So Aquarius is the ninth house. If you put Gemini in the rising in whole signs, Aquarius is that ninth house, which is what happens when the messenger delivers the message. The ninth house is where the broadcast happens. And your life changes. There's a karmic change that happens once you deliver a message. You know, we're gonna see Saturn has been in that Pisces house 10 houses away. So you see how we're living two different lives. That's a Gemini thing. Duality, twins, triplet, whatever. We're living two different lives, a lot of us. Why? Because we all go to work, or we all do another thing, outside of this. Those two lives, when Gemini is in the sky, it's hard to manage both, because Saturn's going to square, this life needs you here, but then that other life needs you there. So just hang in there, y'all. That's my tea.
I just want to add Mercury as the messenger, like Shirley was saying. In Greek mythology, he's the messenger that travels between the realms of the living and the dead. And that is part of the other like shadow side of Gemini, I would say. And the fact that Gemini also likes to play devil's advocate. So this is also going to be a time where people are just going to be arguing for the sake of argument, because like sometimes people just feel the need to take you down a notch or whatever.
If it's boring,
yeah. It's just like,
we're going to have some fun.
That part, yeah. So it's like, that's another one of the negative things, I would say.
So Shirley, you said a comment about the world ending in 2026. If I was mistaken.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
But maybe it was me, because I was like, my brain was like, wait, what did she say? But I was just trying to listen.
Okay, so just
the cycle is ending in 2026.
Yes, cycle. Yes. So
okay.
Neptune. So I'm sorry, we have an echo right here. Okay, look, what I was saying was Neptune, which been in the same sign since 2012, is leaving, which is pop culture. Like, think about Pisces. Pisces is giving up with the end of the world. Every movie since 2012 is about the end of the world, The Walking Dead, people walking around with a disease, Pisces, people need the eyelashes because, simple, like, these are the symbolism. We need it to be perfect. Pisces, BBL, because Pisces is the illusion that every girl was trying to sell. Every guy was trying to have, I got all the money, all the jewelry, all the glitter, all the Venus things. Everybody was just always trying to show their Venus. I got the biggest house. I got the biggest cars. I got the more money, Venus. But now Neptune is going to go into Aries, which is Mars. Mars doesn't operate with Venusian way, but this is a Venusian planet, which is the clashing. So that's going to be a complete shift. So pop culture is going to shift. I mean, it did before, but we were too young to like even realize it from how it went. The internet wasn't important at some point, but then Neptune came into Aquarius and then everybody needed a phone. You remember the movies that they had to go walk into the store to get a change and go to the payphone to call people? Neptune came into Aquarius and said, you know what? You need a phone. You need this phone. Then Uranus came into Pisces. They gave you got to buy this phone, the other phone, this phone, that phone. You get it? Because that was but you know what timeline that was? Late 90s, early 2000, Uranus. If you really pay attention, God is trying to tell us a story, and it's so freaking interesting. But yeah, it's not, the world is not ending. There will be some type of catastrophe, but, let's be realistic, honestly, or like they're giving subtle hints. Like they're talking about carbon monoxide is really high in the sky. What does that even mean? Where does that coming from? These are things that you want to pay, because Gemini's air. Pluto's in Aquarius is air. I'm sorry, I'm about to leave, but let me cut it off. But Aquarius rules the sky, air stuff. Think about it. And now they're saying there's things in the air, things like that. Anyways.
No, but thank you for clarifying that. I just wanted to make sure. My bad, y'all. I heard something completely different. But Boro, let us know, like, how does Jupiter being in Gemini in fall, how does that change things?
So if we put ourselves in Jupiter's shoes, all right, we'll understand how much of a struggle being in Gemini is, because every day Jupiter in its home state, which is the opposite sign, Sagittarius, it gets to wake up, explore another episode, doesn't know what's going to happen in the day. There's no sense for schedule, regiment, this, that, and the third. So, you know, Jupiter is that ninth house Sagittarius energy. You can also say Pisces energy ruled by Jupiter is a real floaty energy, is be one with the universe type energy, right? Be one with the connection you have to source, and let that govern your reality. Now, when we look at Gemini, once again, everything's local in Gemini. So just picking up on what Lotus and Shirley was saying about, you know, the clashes between Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury is really technical. Mercury wants to deal with the instructions, the details. All right. And it's funny because Mercury and Jupiter, they both like to learn. So they're just learning and teaching in different ways. So Mercury may want to actually be more detail oriented about the actual literature in the Bible, but Jupiter may tell you, yeah, it's saying that, but you got to believe this, or it's an allegory for that. So Jupiter is going to give you the philosophical point of view. So with all that being said, just highlighting the differences about how Jupiter and Gemini, how different they really are. What happens is I could just see a lot of influences of us having to learn how to raise concepts beyond what we've already been taught from our adolescent stages. All right. Remember, third house has a lot to do with your adolescent stages of life, early childhood, early education, things that you know, how you became a product of your environment and to a degree based off what environment you grew up in. So this is going to be a year where a lot of us individually get to realize, like, damn, I have this type of behavior because, you know, I was raised in this type of environment, or, you know, I came up in this type of culture, a tradition. It might take a relationship for you to realize that. It might take you dating somebody. You have different backgrounds, different beliefs in some type of shape or form. There's mutable heirs, flexible, different beliefs, whatnot, different cultures. And now, you know, you might be the first time in our lives that we have somebody, you know, highlighting something about us, but it's really getting to the root of something that we became a product of based off our third house, things close to us, the way people think. That's, you know, the mentalities of people close to us. So Jupiter wants to expand beyond all of that, right? If there's any of these ideologies we've took from our third house and our local surroundings that are playing out as a detriment in our life in some type of circumstance, Jupiter wants us to raise beyond that. If there's certain things in your third house, aka familiar knowledge, familiar habits, creative interests, right? Third house, they're familiar. You've been doing these things. You develop them in your third house, and you not maximizing these things to its ability. You're not spreading them. Jupiter wants to expand. All right. So there needs to be an expansion, a spread of things that's already familiar to us, knowledge and information we already have. So like Shirley was saying, jumping into the messenger bag in some type of way. We all have to jump into some type of messenger bag, but a lot of that messaging energy is going to take place in the local surrounding. We may have to be the messenger for our siblings. We may have to be the messenger for a community close to home. We may have to be the messenger in our home environment. We may have to be a messenger in a more intimate setting. All right. So we all need to embrace being able to enlighten others about things that we're around. Okay. We want to change the world, impact your surroundings. So we got that going on. And Jupiter in Gemini forces you to observe your surroundings. So yeah, we got this concept of expansion, but that expansion is going on in one area. So you may have to during Jupiter and Gemini, may feel like you're doing a year bid, being forced to explore the facets and all the different dynamics of the house it's in. So that may lead into different experiences of you learning your fifth house more, you learning your sixth, seventh house more. But it's almost like we're signing up for a bid to only explore a certain parameter. You know, that's how I look at it with Gemini being a local energy, right? So the house you have Gemini in, there's a whole lot of things that may go neglected a lot of the times, and a certain experience, a certain circumstance is going to happen, and we start realizing, like, damn, I be downplaying this, especially I be downplaying how this, whatever this influence affects how I communicate, relate with others, this, that, and the third. And then lastly, with Gemini, with Jupiter eventually going to have to square Saturn, I think there's around this time, there's going to be, like, you know, more forms of like censoring and whatnot over not just like creators, anybody that's really causing some waves, sending messages. You got to understand, this is a square. This is the Pisces Gemini square. these people with these alignments, they struggle filtering how they go about messaging. They struggle. You know, Gemini is so intuitive with its critical analysis and always wanting to relate, always wanting to embrace the position of being a messenger. But then now you got the realities in Pisces, the realities of the collective, right? The realities of what one's belief systems is influenced by. So you're going to see a lot of people probably dealing with being censored or dealing with some type of resistance for them trying to communicate some reality about something to the collective, you know? So it may come through mass censorship through platforms. We may see different cases of individuals being censored. This Kanye West alignment. So every time I think of Jupiter Pisces square, he's like the first face that just pop up in my head. So he's always being censored. He's always being censored, or we always see examples of him being kind of belligerent, but trying to enlighten. Like, guys, look, I'm telling you, the Jewish people, I'm trying to tell you before they get me. So it's like he struggles with that. And we could see that. So we may be placed in these situations, but once again, it's local. A lot of expansion in a local area. So it's funny how much we're about to learn in the next year. That's all I got to say.
No, that's funny. I love the example of Kanye, like so true. And a lot of Gemini suns is gonna have Jupiter transiting over their natal sun and Mercury. So watch for them, see what they're saying. Maybe it's one of them that's getting canceled. I could see Jupiter in Gemini as well, like just really bringing back cancel culture again. I know the past couple of months and years we've been talking about how cancel culture is toxic, but I think we'll see a couple people get canceled again, especially with Gemini. So moving on, we have a lot of air energy this year. So South Node in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, and now Jupiter in Gemini. So how does that point to what we as a collective should be focusing on? Especially when I see the South Node in Libra and then Jupiter in Gemini, for me, that's a lot of like dual energy. So what should we be focusing as a collective? Like, what is the story here? I'll start with you, Shirley, because I know you gotta go in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay. So the South Node is always past life, going back to things. So one of the things that I keep in mind that always brings me back is millennials did everything right. We'd follow the rules, Capricorn things, you know, and that should be like the Pluto. And as Pluto entered Capricorn, we started to realize that everything that they told us to do was a trap or a Plutonian gimmick, is a debt. So they say go to school, you take on debt. You buy a house, you take on mortgage. Everything's a Plutonian thing, right? So with all this air, I guarantee you when you know Libra, social media, Instagram is a Libra, and it was born in 2011, 2012. And we all were young, the millennials. And we all saw that, for an example. It was like, damn, maybe I can go work on that. But we took it back because we let the outside influence kind of come back and remind you that Saturn things, like you can't do this, you got to do that. If you go that way, you're going to fail. Fear. Saturn is literally fear. Jupiter is optimism. So when this square happens, this is like, you have all this faith, you know, Gemini is all fun and game. They got all these big ideas, Gemini, all these information's coming in fast. And then Jupiter's amping them up like, yo, we outside, we gonna go viral, YouTube. And then the reality, like Boro was saying, Saturn comes in and squares you, and then you don't go viral. You only get this amount of views. Saturn things happen, or you got to go a different route, because again, Jupiter wants to go. Saturn is, we can't go nowhere, right? That's all. But again, it's back to your belief, because a square, you know what a square is a building block. If you turn it on the rectangular form, is a step, which is Saturn things, which is a mountain that we're all climbing. So whenever I see that, unless you're having financial hardship, I think that you should keep going. Like that, what does that mean? Like, if there is no flow coming from this new ideas that you already started, for instance, or you see the possibilities, because Gemini's engineering. Remember, he's trying to get out. Gemini's the only zodiac sign that will likes puzzles, because he likes the mental agony. Scorpio's in the sixth house of our daily routine. So if you put Scorpio in the rising, and if you put Gemini in the rising sign and you put it as a whole signs, Scorpio is the 6 signs away. So if you're counting, okay, thank you. Shout out to that. Hello, yes, birthdays. Okay, but
it's six. No, I think you're talking some real shit.
So I'm like, okay, but anyways, it's 6 houses away. So like, it's our routines, you know what I mean? And that's if you really broke down, because Jupiter's going to expand this Gemini entire houses. And if you think about the way a Gemini is always having their Scorpio is to manipulate their routine, to strategize the routine, to escape, to transform. I got to get out of here. Trust me, I'm a Gemini moon. So the ruler of my rising is Gemini. So every day I have to find this. I got to cut time here. I got to get there. I'm like stealing here to pay. But that's with time, because literally time now, because my sixth house is Scorpio. If I'm a Gemini rising, think about that. And if you think about it, we all as a collective either have Pluto and Scorpio. And this is what I'm going to say before I was going to leave. I wanted to give this for the collective. A lot of us are going to have Pluto and Scorpio, or Pluto and Libra, or Pluto and Sagittarius. Obviously, I'm talking about the millennials. I'm talking about like Pluto and Scorpio people. We have to take back our time. We have to engineer, maneuver, MacGyver, because that's what Scorpio axis and Uranus has been told. That's where it's been toying with us, if that makes sense. It's our mind. So remember, if we are the human, we're the human body here. Gemini's your mind. And now you know your mind is always engineering, okay, a way to get out of, or some sixth house things. You know what I mean? I hope everybody's following me in that sense. And Saturn, we follow these rules. Ninth house is ruled by Saturn. Eighth house, subconsciously, we're always trying to. That's why Capricorn is in their eighth house of other people's and debts, because Gemini's be making karma with people. Capricorn is in their eighth house of other people, because they always promising, yeah, I got you. They're making these intimate connections karmic, because they got them. Oh, you know what? I got you later. If you let me leave early right now, I'm gonna bring you my food. That's gonna cost you money. That's a Capricorn thing. Think about it. Like that's something that I do in my job. Like I'd be like, yo, my coworker, yo, do this work for me. I got you. I'm gonna buy you lunch. I'm still spending money on Taurus thing in the 12th house. You understand what Taurus is? Food and money. I'm spending in the 12th house. So with Jupiter here, we're all just gonna become Gemini in some way, some form. Since the pandemic, you've activated your Capricorn houses and your Aquarius houses. And that Aquarius house is fixed, which means fixed is continuation of things. So we got to keep going, even though they're going to make it fucking hard now. Like you see how they keep threatening TikTok, Saturn, or we're going to take away TikTok, which is Pisces thing. We're going to take away your fun. But it's an illusion. They can't really take that away. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Anyways, but that's my tea on this transit with Jupiter and Gemini. We're going to become a Gemini. And if you really put it very literal and you go down house by house and you think about it, like Cancer is the second house away from Gemini. Cancer is the moon, emotions. Second house is money. All Geminis worried about the money. You know what I mean? They get emotional about, that's the only, or are you operating in that sense? Because let's say you elevate your guts and your emotion and you become a creator of your own skill. Remember, the second house is still a natural born talent. All Geminis can create the illusion that they're really good at this or that and this because of that. Then their house of assets, the second house is assets. They come with a natural born talent of intuition. So if we think about it like that, you have a skill already, whether it's your hands talking, your mind. Even if you say, fuck it, I'm gonna do data analyst, or we're all gonna learn coding, or we're all gonna start putting our shit on Fiverr. It's still a skill that you're working on and you're about to get it. But the problem is they're gonna fearmonger us, and I'm about to finish it off. Again, you're gonna get fearmonger. Remember this. We had this talk. Saturn is fear. Pluto is fear, whether it's weather, whether it's the money. They're gonna take away TikTok. They've tried everything to get you, like, to get us in fear. Pluto and Aquarius, you know what I mean? They're trying to get groups of people now to infiltrate that fear, which is that messenger. You're gonna hear crazy people, Pisces, Pisces in the 10th house, saying crazy shit. The world is ending tomorrow. I feel it. No, that was gas, bro. It's not. It doesn't, chronologically speaking, if you go with the stars and you follow the stars, why would it end when Pluto is going back into retrograde? It's gonna go back into Aquarius. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it in that concept, why would the world end when there's a transition of a planet? You know, like, it's going backwards. You have to wait till Pluto's all over. But anyways,
but
that's
hold on, I want to, because I know you got to leave soon, and I want to be able to ask you another question before you leave. So I'm going to pass it to Boro, and then we're going to pass it back. I'm going to ask you one last question, Charles, before you go. But Boro, damn, I forgot the fucking question. I think I said there's a lot of, yo, you took me down a fucking rabbit hole. I forgot where I was. Jupiter, there's a lot of air. There's a lot of air energy. South Node in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, Jupiter in Gemini, Boro. What is the collective story that you feel like we should be understanding or focusing on right now?
Yeah, a lot of air energy, no matter what planets is in it. If we're dealing with a lot of air energy, it's going to be a lot of mental activity. It's going to be a lot of things challenging how you think about things. So there's so much potential for you just to develop new perspectives and new different outlooks. So the fact that, Saturn, Pluto is just heavy in this story with Jupiter in Gemini, I think it's really important for the collective not to not to hold deep attachments to certain mentalities. These mentalities are specifically on an individual level is going to cater to the house you have Gemini in, because everything with Gemini, once again, it's a third house sign. So things with family be correlated in this house is things close to home. So sometimes when we are attached or we've been in under influence for so long, is a process detaching or growing out of or evolving. Jupiter brings some sense of growth. So it could be a lot of pressured situations a lot of us could be dealing with, because there's a group, there's an environment that we kind of got comfortable in, right? They may not push the expansion of things dealing with our ideas, aspirations, and we need to explore a different environment in some type of shape or form. So then we may get into extreme situations in our partnerships. So people really have to, well, with all of that being said, people really have to allow themselves to find continue to find more tribe based off where you believe your growth is at. Pluto being right there, the entrance into Gemini, with Jupiter entrance into Gemini, this first quarter of this transit, could have a lot of deep transformation with people's close to home relationships. We need to be open to the change. We need to be open to things not being in position the way we may think it's going to be in position right now. All right. So that's important. And I also feel like this also could create a clash of belief systems. We may see it on a mass level with whether it's in politics, with celebrities or whatever, but we're going to see people philosophies about things clashing, and that could create little mini warfares in different communities based off of everybody being projected on or being influenced by these two people competing on their belief system. Now that conversation that starts to expand through air, in person, in the internet, in some type of shape or form. But I definitely could see a little rebellious energy coming out this transit as well too, though. All right. You can't have all these influences, especially what Cheryl's talking about, the different influences with her, with the programming and the resistance and the censoring. That's going to come with some opposition energy too. I think we're going to see, in some type of case, the collective trying to get on one page, because we feel like even though we all have different thought forms about things, we all agree that we don't like how we're being filtered and censored. Like, we all don't believe that. We're going to see that in some type of shape or form. People having different outlooks about things, but in a collective general sense, we could get on the same page about how we feel about the collective being censored. So them type of circumstances. But once again, when it comes into what you're going to be exploring in your Gemini house, when it comes into filtering out partnerships that you know could help pour into things you're trying to create and build, there's going to be a little resistance behind it. And we really have to embrace things dealing with our belief system, because they could get challenged a whole lot. Gemini likes to debate. Gemini will not run out of gas debating and exchanging thought forms. So don't get discouraged when people have all these different type of critiques, Mercury, these different type of critiques and thought forms for the things you believe in, for the things you want, the different journeys. Journeys are a word that's associated with Jupiter a lot. So going to be new journeys taking place in your Gemini house, and you got to make sure you're not discouraged with other people projecting on, where that path is going to take you. All right. So that's what I think some real important things everybody should keep in mind for the rest of the year.
All right, last question for Cheryl, and then you can head out. I wanted to know really quickly about Jupiter and Gemini. Anything specifically in the market to look for? Any stocks, any type of industries that you can see possibly take an upturn during this period? Give us a little stock tea, market tea, and then you could pop out.
Okay. So just so I got you. So we got to be on those 3 air signs. So we're gonna have Pluto in Aquarius for like 20 years. Pluto in Aquarius will always trine Gemini in the Libra house. The South Node, like I said, the South Node is Libra, which is detachments of weird relationships, starting businesses. Libra is about decision making. A lot of us struggle there, even though we may not have Libra. Everybody still has a decision to make in their life in some area of their life. Wherever Libra is in your chart, you usually, that area of life makes you have to do decisions about your life. So that would be a theme. And of course, Gemini will have Uranus eventually in Gemini for a long period of time. So besides that, the stock market, it's also good for puts. So the reason why I say this, when retrograde comes, obviously things will go a little bit downward. There's going to be hype stuff. I wouldn't get into GameStop, because why? You know what I mean? There's other ways to make stable money. Gemini rules it's a Mercury thing, so it's part of the daily routine. So I would say, for instance, if you follow one stock for a daily routine, that'll be my homework. That'll be my Gemini rules student. Teach yourself something. Be your own student. Jupiter's in Gemini, so that means you could be your own teacher. Your own whatever. So pick one stock, and follow that rhythm. It's a dance. It's a Leo thing. Leo rules speculative gains and the 5th house. So that's one thing I would tell you. Now, Gemini's things like if you see a trending stock that's gonna go viral, like you see it on TikTok, people joining together, do it. Because that's communities going together, trying to get to that bag. Last time that happened, when I remember, GameStop was a thing, Dogecoin was a thing. I believe Bitcoin. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm sorry, I put this on Twitter, I forgot. Long story short, Bitcoin is a Capricorn, okay? I don't know if anybody noticed, but because it's a Capricorn sun during Taurus season, which is 5 houses away. So if you count it, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, then Taurus season, it got up. It went up 70K, which is the ultimate high. That is 5 houses away. Leo, back to the Leo. You get it? So if this is correct, Scorpio season is the 11th house of gains. Okay. So that would be that November, December, we should still be having an upcycle. Another thing that happened was when Jupiter was in Aquarius, it was climbing up. So Bitcoin was going up 10K, 10K. Long story short, I did the math. If you put $100 in flat into Bitcoin right now and you let it sit there for the entire year, you will make $72. So that is $6 a month. If you just have $100, so you'll have 172. If you put $100 in a savings account, the most you'll make in 1 year will be $6 because you only get 6% of your annual something. So you have a better chance putting your money into Bitcoin and letting it sit there. And in a year, you would have, let's say you put 1,000, you would have $720. You put because it's in an upcycle. The reason why I say it's in an upcycle, because the last time Jupiter was in Aquarius, it started going up. When Jupiter went into Pisces, it went up 66K, which was the highest potential. Same thing's going to happen. Jupiter's going to go into Gemini. It's going to go up. And then Jupiter in Cancer, which is another water sign, so it's going to go from air to water, is going to go up. The reason this is happening is Bitcoin has a North Node in Aquarius and a Venus in Pisces. So it will go over it. So Jupiter in Pisces will, if Jupiter in Gemini will trine that North Node in Aquarius, is destiny. And then the Jupiter in Cancer will trine its Venus. So all it's doing right now literally is stabilizing itself, honestly. So that'd be
and any other markets or any other industries that we should kind of like take in consideration, or you said like pick a stock, anything in particular, like any industry with Jupiter and Gemini or anything like that that we should look towards?
Okay, so for instance, I give you Saturn things. SP 500 is an index fund that is basically a stock that has over 100 other stocks. There's basically betting on the American stock market. Here's what I do with it, guys. This is what I do, and it's very simple. One, you can either buy that stock slow and steady. The reason why I say you have to pick on one stock at a time is because we don't have that much money. You're only really in the game if you own 100 shares of something. The reason I say that stock is a stabilizer, so while you're figuring out what good stock to get into, your money's already making you money. So think about that. When I do anything, I always start off with Saturn things. Okay, what is the Saturn thing in this thing? Saturn is the foundation. That's how I calculate my day. Like, okay, I got to do the hard thing first. So what I would say to you is, if you don't know what stock to get into, put it in the SP 500. Why? Or the QQQ. Again, that one stock, which is right now $500. When I was buying it, it was at $465. I could show you. So it's already up $100. That is betting on the American market, the entire market. You're betting on Amazon, Tesla, every little stock, the little weed stocks that you think is going to blow up, the little health stocks you think is going to blow up, Meta, which is Facebook, which is a social media site. All of them is in this one stock, which is the SP 500 or the QQQ. And what you do is you just put your money there while you're getting a better play. Does that make sense? The better play for me would be in the next couple months, my better play, Bitcoin is still going to go up. That's why I'm trying to tell you, like, still go to Bitcoin, because this is where the money's going. They are all moving into Bitcoin. Literally, if you look up stock information, Pluto's and Aquarius, they're all literally shifting into the crypto space because the money wasn't moving quick enough like it was on crypto. That is why they're slowly, if you go, I want you all to look up BlackRock. BlackRock is the base, and Vanguard. Those are the people that hold our money. When you go to jobs and you start your 401k, you sign up for a Vanguard account, you sign up for those 401ks account. If you go look what they're doing, they're buying Bitcoin. If you really go look at BlackRock, if you look at those stocks are like a whole thing. I need you to conceptualize an entire country just bought Bitcoin when it was at its high. Colombia spent over 30 billion. I don't even know how much money he spent when Bitcoin was at its highest point. He wouldn't go that hard if he didn't. You know?
They made it as national currency, part of the national currency. I know you got to go, Shirley, but thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for gracing us with your wisdom and all your information and knowledge. We definitely have to have you back. Everyone in the building, say bye to Shirley. She's going to go to the second bag, the second work. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy Jupiter new moon to you. I know that's your natal moon, so happy new moon to you, babe. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. And then there were 3. All right, so we're also closing up pretty soon, y'all, but we have a couple questions still left on the plane. So I'm gonna pass this one to you, Lotus. I wanted to know as well so when Jupiter moved into Gemini, right away it aspected Pluto, did a trine with Pluto, and it was the first time aspect in air for a really long time. Anything we should take away from that, like literally the day it went into Gemini, it trined Pluto. Anything you think the collective should take away from that?
Yes,
Yes,
I let the really needs to happen with the available energy of transforming your higher mind. The main strategic point of warfare throughout this transit is going to be mind games, and you need to be able to see. And you need to be able to see in more ways than one, Gemini. You need to be able to see other realms, if I'm being quite honest. So like Pluto and Jupiter are extremely powerful planets, and I feel like them being in a harmonious aspect with one another is really giving us this opportunity to develop sight, to increase sight, to pivot, to challenge your own beliefs and strengthen them and expand them, maybe break up with certain mindsets that are keeping you maybe in the Eight of Swords version of this Jupiter in Gemini transit, things like this. And with Saturn, eventually making a square to this whole thing, I feel like that is an invitation to pivot. So Saturn's sitting on my natal Jupiter right now, but I've been under a Uranus transit and a Pluto transit. And when Saturn was at the end of Aquarius, he was hitting my sun and moon. So I feel like me and the outer planets have really had to get to know each other. And a lot of times Saturn is challenging you because what he really wants you to do is pivot. Are you just going to give up if some type of obstacle shows up? Are you just going to abandon your self-requirements or your needs or things like that just to give in to what everyone else is doing? How bad do you want it, kind of thing? How many other ways are you willing to successfully complete this journey and get to this end result? So I feel like that's also been a big part of this too, is just really mastering the art of pivoting, because there's going to be multiple fronts of which this battle is fought. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to navigate it. And I think that that's one of the things about Mercury that is really important, that I really want people to tap in with their Gemini and Virgo houses with, and see where their Mercury placement is, and really figure out how they can blueprint that shit to be a master playbook. Last time oh, sorry.
I was just saying that right there was just a point to note about just making a master playbook, for sure.
Yeah, last time we had this transit was in 2012, and there was a lot of challenging political energy during 2012. There was also a lot of clashes in belief systems, like Boro said, that is coming up. We had those in 2012. So it's really important for people to really prioritize mental health, because this battle is going to be we had a meningitis outbreak last time Jupiter was in Gemini, and meningitis is inflammation of the brain stem. And think of how far technology is now and how many more things are held close to the brain, and how they've perfected wave systems and signals and things like this. So I just feel like people really need to tap in with their higher self, their higher mind. They need to really figure out what is their belief system and strengthen their sight.
Anything you want to add to that, Boro?
I just want to the expansion of belief systems, what Lotus saying, is just, I think that's the major theme of how Jupiter plays out at detriment here. I think that's the major theme. So we're gonna, every transit, we'll see examples of it out in the world, but we need to make sure, when we feel when we feel like our conscious is telling us maybe what this person is telling us, even though it's opposite towards the mindset or mentality we've been familiar and comfortable with our whole life, maybe what our partner, what this new collaborative effort is teaching me, what this new social environment I'm in is teaching me. Like, we have to be able to have our spiritual antennas up and be able to be open from learning from others. Jupiter is not just the teacher, is a student as well. It's every great teacher is a great student. So we need to be able to, adapt that type of vibe in like significant partnership activity. And just when it comes into any just familiar cycles, we may feel like we're in a loop in our Gemini house, because Gemini is also a sign that deal with habits. All right, deal with your third house. We develop habits based off of our environment. All right, so we just gotta be real conscious about getting to the root of where these habits stem from and how things in our surroundings, people, places, and things, help support these habits, positive and negative habits in general. All right, but yeah.
What do you think with Jupiter and Gemini, like we might see in the tech space? So I remember having this conversation when Umi did the forecast, the June forecast for everyone, and we were talking about how there's like new dating sites, like again all the air energy. There's this new site called like Black, and like people are like liking it and whatnot. And I'm just thinking like also we might see some new apps since it rules communication. So, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about the technology space when it comes to Jupiter and Gemini? Do you think we're gonna get new apps? If so, what do you guys kind of like think they'll be like? You could just suppose. You can suppose, is that a word? I don't know. But yeah. My question is, what do you guys think when it comes to the technological space with Jupiter and Gemini? What kind of advancements do you think we might see?
I feel like there'll be more wearable things like that. Maybe they want to directly plug into our brain. No, but like seriously, I think we're gonna see Neuralink take like make like a huge pop somehow. Maybe even become a more available, like mainstream. I think that they're definitely going to continue to advance, just like that wearable things and expand neighborhoods and things like that as well. But for social media, I definitely feel like there's going to be more movement for apps where there could be safe spaces to speak more freely and be less censored.
I can see that. With Jupiter and Gemini too, I've been telling people that like writing is back. I know blogging, blogging like in 2012 as well, around the last time this happened, was really big back then. So newsletters and blogging, I think, can also be something that can possibly be back around this time. Boro, what kind of little predictions do you have for Jupiter and Gemini when it comes to the tech space and new social media apps? What do you feel like we can see?
So we already got like platforms where you can have so much parties on one platform, sharing thoughts, right? You could do, I don't know how many you can have on StreamYard, but I don't watch other YouTube channels that I didn't seen 30 niggas up here. So with that being said, I do see a little competition. I don't even want to say competition, maybe, but I did when it comes to any platform in general where people could share their thoughts or whatnot, they may want to start enhancing their ability to have more people be on platforms. There may be a certain competition we see with all social media platforms in general, trying to express their intrigue of why you should explore, this as more of an interaction space, or why this should be more of a space for you to brand your business. Look at this new concept we have on Instagram now. Now with this feature, you could connect and get your brand to be seen by this. So that sense of expansion, but expansion with trying to get more eyes, more minds, more critique, more attention on something that you may be wanting to relate around this time. So I could just see a little bit of that, but somebody's gonna start spiritually beefing. Like we got a lot of hip hop beef going on. We might start seeing the spiritual beefs, like Dr. Umar start beefing with this other philosopher, because it's once again, it's the extreme. Jupiter is an extreme energy. See, like when we talk about the like extreme signs and planets, like Jupiter is one of the extreme. Like, you know, Jupiter will place us in extreme situations if it feels like we're not graduating with our knowledge or a certain form of karma somewhere. So I could just see extreme clashes with people with their philosophies and whatnot. And it's not just about that circumstance. I just see how that can create waves. Like people have to be very conscious of how they people have to be responsible. And I think even Lotus was saying this, you know, people got to be real responsible about how they try to embrace being the messenger around this time as well. All right. Jupiter and Gemini can be an impulsive energy. Jupiter wants to just explore and experience. So if Jupiter is surrounded by these people, places, and things in the surroundings, you have to be real conscious of what you're consuming in your surroundings. We may just want to jump off the thrill, the impulse, the intrigue of a concept belief from others. So I think that's really important as far as what may be influence on social media. As far as advancements with tech and everything, yeah, I just see more of that. That's just what came to my head when you asked that question. More of that intrigue of different platforms trying to show why you should explore this area some more to push something, or market something or whatnot, try to throw creators different, you know, incentives in different ways. So things like that for the most part. And it's funny. Last thing, it's funny because this is all going to be in the midst of them trying to censor your ass. It's like, here, we're going to censor you, but here, we got this little reward if you could do this over here. So it's going to be funny money at the same time.
Yeah, it's gonna be like one hand here and then the other one behind the back. Absolutely. And I think an important point that you bring up is just like social media fighting, like the actual companies fighting each other. I can definitely see that with this energy. Like, come over here or like fuck this platform. Like, and they'll really be like, especially with like marketing and everything, like that rule by Gemini, using this energy to kind of like, yeah, cement which is the best type of platform. Definitely too with this energy, a lot of debates. So I agree with you. When was this? When was the South Node in Sagittarius and North Node in Gemini again? Was it like 2021? 2021?
In 2012, was
but we just had a transit.
last we had Gemini, we had Saturn.
Go ahead. I think Boro, you were saying something.
No, I was just I forgot I was muted, but I was just saying what Lo was saying, like around that 2012, 2011 range. I believe Jupiter was on that axis. I mean the node.
Okay, yeah, the nodes. No, I was talking about but we just had a Sag South Node transit like 2 years ago because now we're in Libra. I'm gonna pull up the date exactly. Yeah, we had a
node.
Okay. Yeah, so we had that happened like 2.5 years ago. And that's when the whole podcast thing happened. Like everybody started getting on a podcast. I launched my podcast with Sag energy when the nodes was in Gemini and Sag, but the opposite. So I feel like Jupiter in Gemini too. The people who have podcasts, I can very much see them debating, like you said, Boro. I think it'll be the second wave of the podcasting area, and kind of like how do we evolve? Do we have higher level conversations on podcasts? Because for the whole past year, it's just like the same thing: man and woman, are you a high value? Blah blah blah. So it's like, and Lotus was talking about a higher mind. Maybe we'll see more podcasts with higher level conversations going up and blowing up. Hopefully. Go ahead, Bora. I see you itching.
Now, as far as when you bring that up, as far as the clash of belief systems, you're gonna see that environment, that conversation on the internet get more extreme. Like we thought we're seeing the peak of it because a lot of us getting a little tired of it. Some of us getting tired of it. Some of us is just seeing how common of a conversation it is. I think that's going to be more extreme. Like more people have crazy blow-ups, kick people off their podcasts around this time. So that's one. And then two, I think you're gonna see that, but then you're gonna see a lot of other creators shoot that down. Like, you're going to start hearing more creators saying, guys, let's evolve beyond this whole value relationship thing. Let's start being more mature about, connecting in modern time. So I think you're going to see way more creators showing that they're even, over a lot of the concepts that's been, heavily recycled in the podcast space.
I saw someone talk about meta as well, and just a lot going on with meta and the metaphysical world, maybe even the metaverse. I definitely think by the time Uranus enters Gemini, metaverse would have been like cemented in one way or another. But we could see possibly something with Jupiter and Gemini, and just like the rise of places like metaverse and AI is a big one we didn't touch on, but with all the air energy and Pluto and Aquarius as well, AI just making more strides, us using AI. Maybe we'll use AI a little bit more in our regular life, in our daily life. We'll see. Someone talked about maybe AI in education, and the fact that they're already using it in elementary and high school, which is different from our times because we never had the help of Chat GPT when we were growing up. We had to do the regular old plagiarizing. Now they can just copy paste that shit in Chat GPT and do that. So most definitely some change in education I think we can see happening as well. And maybe the duality too will be part of like the gossiping, arising the gossiping blogs and the gossiping podcasts and all of those things, because Gemini still craves that. And then on the other side, like high level conversations and just us being double minded. Like, what do we want to follow? Do we want to listen to the high conversations, but then we still check in the shade room, but we still check in the. So, like, just that double minded and just seeing like what we consume, what we put in our minds, and like, which path we want to choose. So, any celebrities that y'all have, we're about to end within the next 5 minutes, y'all. Any celebrity examples y'all have to kind of like show us what's going on right now with the energy? Maybe anyone with mutable or has like Gemini placements or anything like that. If you could use them to kind of like explain what's going on or explain what even's going on with them currently. If y'all have anyone, let me know. Lotus, do you have anyone?
Chris Brown, Gemini, and he is a Taurus sun, so he got to have all of the hopefully positive influence of Jupiter transiting over his sun and moon and Venus, but he does have Uranus sitting on his Venus right now, so he could definitely be an example of like how this could play out, very chaotic and volatile. You know what I mean? Especially as a Leo rising, right? Let me look at his chart again. Yeah, he's a Leo rising, which is putting Jupiter in his 11th house whole sign. So, I don't know, because I feel like he's an example of like hot and cold. You know what I mean? Like there is times where everyone is he's like in favor with everyone, and then he has had times where he's like really not in favor with everyone. So what's interesting is that Jupiter returns coincide with 12th house perfection years. So this could also be a time where, let's see, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jupiter rules his 5th house and his 8th house. So for Chris Brown, maybe there is going to be some solitude where he has some new rebirth in what he is going to share with the world as far as his creative talents. He's got the ruler of his sun and moon with Uranus there, and then his, Jupiter return. Maybe we're going to see him come out with something, take things in a new direction. 5th house in Sagittarius. Maybe he pivots to teaching somehow. Maybe he opens up or invests in educational places. Maybe he moves into like doing kids things because it's the 5th house and he does have kids. So maybe he starts making like kid friendly music or kid programs. I don't know, something like this. But he's someone whose chart is very active right now with the outer planets, plus he's in a Jupiter return.
We'll definitely keep an eye out for Chris Brown. And if he does launch something for kids or anything like that, make sure to come back here and tap in with us and let us know. So we can, so we can tell. Let us know, Boro, anyone that you're currently checking right now in terms of celebrity with the transits to kind of see how things are playing out.
So I don't have no like significant story about like a celebrity we may all be privy to, but there was something that caught my eye yesterday. So there's an influencer on YouTube. He's a really big YouTuber. His name is Wes Watson. So he's a you could say like a motivational life coach type of influencer. He did a lot of time in jail. He's really blunt, direct. So the way he has an entertaining form of expressing what he is, but that's what he is, like a motivational life coach. Now, basically, he has a big following. And he was invited to a panel. Some of you guys may be familiar with this podcast. Their name is Fresh and Fit. They got demonetized. They usually have like a bunch of women on their podcast. They were hosting a panel. They invited a bunch of different influencers, and he just pretty much started being real extreme. The guy, Wes Watson, started being real extreme at this panel and got into a little panel beef with one of the other influencers. Now, I'm bringing him up because he's a Virgo, so he's a mutable sign. And after that panel, he pretty much is like under heavy scrutiny because, people feel like the way he conducted himself in the panel goes against a lot of what he, how he conducts himself on his platform. And I'm like, damn, the mutables with all this, even though this is something we all have to be aware of, but we may see some of the hardships through the mutables. And this is really a time people have to be responsible with being the messenger in some type of way. You have to be responsible with being the messenger because when you have all this Gemini activity, it comes with a lot of critical analysis. All right. So people are not just, letting you have a huge room margin for error. No, people are very critical of how people communicate things, relate things, how people hold the responsibility of their audience or their surroundings in general. So I seen that and I'm just like, okay, all right, mutable signs, make sure you're not allowing different feelings and emotions to push out and be extreme with how y'all push our energies out into the collective, and everybody in general has to be very responsible, not just how they communicate their belief systems, but how you digest other people's beliefs as well. All right, but once you think about we're gonna have them daily headlines about that.
So before we, I have one last question before the last questions, 2 more questions. But first question is, what is your Gemini placement? So what house is Jupiter going into for you, and how do you hope it manifests for you? You can go first, Elysse.
Whole sign, I have Gemini in the 9th house, and I have Venus, Lilith, and Chiron in Gemini, and they're spread throughout the whole 30 degrees. So as a Libra rising Taurus sun, the Jupiter Venus is going to be something that's going to hopefully be a major transit for me. I'm really hoping for expansion in a lot of ways. I want to expand my house, like my physical house, into a bigger place to accommodate my business that's been growing. Also, I'm transitioning into more of a teacher role, and I opened a subscription service as well. And I really want to learn a new language. Like, it's very on brand for the 9th house for me. Like, I want to do personal expansion, but also start sharing some of the information, because Gemini, like, I don't want to just be a hoarder of information. I want to share with everyone. So, yeah.
I love that for you. Hope all of that comes true. What about you, Boro?
Yes. Shout out to you, Lotus. I love hearing all those prosperous things that are in motion. And so I have Gemini in my 5th house, and I'm a Gemini South node. So I know this transit is gonna really just push me to really, embrace all things that I'm confident with as far as creative expression, putting things on the stage. You know, there's already a lot of things I feel like at times I may be too what's the word? Just a little bit too anal about how I'm gonna take steps to do certain things creatively. So now I'm really pretty much just gonna throw everything out into the fifth house. And I know this transit is also going to push me to deal with just a little bit more movement in general when it comes into my fifth house. Because honestly, I take a lot of my fifth house influences and I connect it to the 10th. I do have my ruler of my 5th and my 10th. So usually my creative endeavors or anything I want to do creatively, I look at it from an approach of how I could bring it into the collective. But sometimes that could suppress how you just deal with your pastimes and the relationship with your inner child in your own personal life. So that's just something I know that's going to be a push to make sure I become more in tune with that relationship or whatnot. And then, you know, continuing to collab and relate with other creatives, with other people that, you know, share my creative interests or whatnot. I know there's so much opportunity in that. And Jupiter is so much for me to learn from other people who are in the lane doing the things that I'm doing. So, you know, just balancing that teacher-student energy amongst the creative fields for the most part.
Lotus has a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you said Jupiter is going into your 5th house, so I was just like, baby, maybe.
Nah, not this Jupiter transit.
Boro.
He's birthing creations. He's creating creations.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
I call that in for you too.
Okay. For me, my Jupiter is going in my 3rd house. So definitely, I feel like this year I'm going to be exploring my neighborhood a little bit more. I want to get on some neighborhood podcasts. I want to get on some podcasts in Canada. I feel like I do everything. I'm so Sag, so I'm always like global. But I'm like, what about my city? Like, people in my city don't know about astrology like that. They don't. So I'm really hoping to get like invited on some podcasts, some neighborhood podcasts, and be able to talk about astrology and spirituality and all of these things. Since it's on my 3rd, 9th axis, same thing. Lotus, really just Jupiter being my ruling my sun, getting into my teacher bag this year as well. Really, really huge for me. Hopefully my business, again, like marketing, business, that type of thing, blows up. Hopefully I go viral. Hopefully this goes viral, something like that. Like I said, high level, I want to do more high level conversations, expand the podcast, expand the brand. And yeah, like just, you know, get to know some people around the neighborhoods. I might work with my siblings, so we'll see. Those type of stuff. So I could definitely already see a lot of it playing out. And yeah, my biggest hope is that some of the projects that I have and my teachings like is well received and well received by a lot of people, I would say, for me. All right. So we have the very last question. We're about to be 2 hours here. Thank you so much, both of y'all. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Very last question. Let me just check comments, see how people are feeling, what they're saying. Y'all, please let me know if you're still in the freaking building. We're here. We have the last question. Let me know if y'all here. I need to see some movement in the chat. And while we wait for that, I did want to let y'all know, as we were talking about me being in my teacher bag, let me just make this like that, me being in my teacher bag, I did want to let y'all know that we are having a free masterclass tonight, y'all. If you want to hop on in, it is all about creating a standout brand. So for everyone who wants to understand the mindset behind being memorable and magnetic and how to connect with your audience, this one is definitely for you. So it is at 8:30 p.m. tonight, and it is hosted by yours truly. It is one of a kind, and the only time it'll ever be free. So hop on in. I'll make sure the information is in the description for y'all. It's actually already in the description, so you guys can check that out. We are doing this tonight at 8:30 p.m. EST. So like I said, it's perfect for all the people who you have a million ideas, Jupiter and Gemini energy. You have, you don't know your niche, you don't know what you want to talk about, you don't know how to integrate all your different ideas into one umbrella and come on here and do your thing. This masterclass is definitely for y'all. So I have a form that I put down below if you guys want to join. Make sure to show out. All right, so let me bring y'all back for our very last effing question. And the question that everybody wants to know is like, are we outside this summer? Is this the summer that we're fucking outside? Like, we're tired of being cooped up. We've been healing. We've been doing all the things. Okay, can we be outside this summer, y'all? Like, can we have some fun? Is this the summer that we outside? So we'll start. Well, okay, Boro, you unmuted, so let us know.
Nah, I don't even gotta start first. I'm just laughing because tired of healing is mad funny. Like, are we tired of this healing shit?
We need little breaks. You know, it's good to heal, but then you need to benefit from the healing. You know what I mean? So I know. Again, I mentioned this on a previous episode, and from what they were saying was that 2016, you know, the summer that everyone goes back, like, when are we going to have another summer like 2016? That apparently 2016 had a lot of mutable energy as well. So that this summer could be a little reminiscent of that type of vibe. So hopefully it is, but let me know in your opinion, are we outside this summer or what?
I mean, with the giant Gemini stellium, I would definitely say that we're outside at least for a while. But then Venus is going to move into Cancer. So people may think that they're going to be outside, just like playing outside, but then they're going to want to like be booed up. I feel like that's gonna be also a theme towards let's see, when does that happen? Towards the end of June. Yeah, I feel like people are going to be transitioning into maybe feeling like they want to be more booed up, or maybe just be more like romantic, because then we have Venus and Cancer and then Leo. So that's very much like relationships and love. And since Venus is one of those planets that represents what we desire, I feel like there'll be some of that. Plus with Mars and Taurus, like let's be home, or let's go on a date out to dinner, just very much like that kind of thing. So I don't know.
Booed of the summer. I don't know. I feel like you're killing some girls' dreams right now. they're like, I'm trying to be booed up later in the year. Go ahead, Boro.
So, you know, like Lotus said, there's a whole party going on in Gemini. A lot of us going to be forced to be outside for a little while. However, not only a lot of these influences starting with Venus, and then eventually, once again, things having to hit Saturn. Look at the sign Saturn is in, guys. All right. It's in a lover sign. It's in a sign that's really observational when it comes into, you know, the faculties of intimacy. So us dealing with Saturn being there, right? I think Gemini is opening up an environment to find situations to something more purposeful, something, you know, that we feel like we want to realistically, then this actually has potential for me to actually be committed to it, or like put more foundation into this. So yeah, we're going to be outside. It's just like everybody might just have a little timer until like, all right, you had a month, soulmate here. All right, you had a couple weeks, you had fun. All right, I'll let you into the God gonna be telling y'all to make sure y'all give grace for letting y'all in the club for free that month, this, and third. But once you run into that person or that vibration of wanting something more foundational, or wanting to go home with something after the club or after you're outside all day, yeah, that vibration is gonna be there. So that just comes with us having to be real intuitive, or embracing our intuition and real discerning as far as, you know, what partnerships we want to entertain, because you will have a lot of opportunity to entertain some new things. It's a lot of Gemini energy. Gemini is one of the most charismatic signs in the zodiac. So yeah, people are going to make things sound good. All right. So guys, have fun. And stay dangerous. That's my advice.
But also, if you have not been in a healing era, just be careful, because this energy is going to make you want to play house, and you need to like have boundaries, and you need to recognize red flags. You don't just be aligning yourself with anything because you're lonely, like the hood healer says, you know, like be intentional as well, you know.
I mean, I think that's what y'all are telling the people, is that they may have the chance to actually meet good people this year if they're intentional. So for the city girls, it's not what y'all thinking, but for the girls who, you know, did the work and is ready to meet some people, it might be y'all year, it might be y'all summer. I guess that's what I'm getting from both of y'all. So I like that. I feel like that for the girlies. But that was my very last question. Thank you, Boro. Thank you, Lotus. Thank you to Sturls earlier, just for being here, for sticking it out. We're 2 hours on the dot. Thank y'all so much. Someone asked, are we getting flied out? Maybe. Jupiter and Gemini. Flight out you and your best friend. So funny. But y'all are always just a hoot, and always thank y'all for being with us for 2 hours and commenting. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all, Boro. Thank you, Lotus, for being here, for being part of the panel, for being part of the Success with the Stars. This just started a little bit over a year ago with no plan in sight, just doing my thing, and to see y'all here right now literally cementing it into reality and making it so fucking real is crazy for me. It's crazy for me. Part of my wildest dreams are already blown, so I can't wait to see what this year brings for both of you, for all of us. And my only goal is for us to continue to work together and expand together. So thank you, Boro, thank you, Lotus. If y'all want to say something, y'all can come out of the mic, and we're gonna call it a night, a day.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for every time you have me on, Sherise. Sorry for being late today. All right. You know, it's always lovely to connect with y'all. I love being on a panel up with you, Lotus, and everything. Shout out to everybody in the church, everybody in the comments. All right. Happy new moon to everybody. All right. Be outside. But like I said, follow that intuition, guys. That gut instinct, be instincting.
I mean, I plan on being outside. Like at 7 p.m. Friday, it's 95 degrees. Like, I'm definitely going to be outside because I've been doing the work. She's been doing the work. And I definitely feel like this is a time to be outside and be social. Like, there is a party in Gemini. Don't miss out. But Gemini with the duality and with the air sign and everything, like, make sure that you are sort of going to attract the good side of Gemini, not the bad side of Gemini. You know what I mean? Because there definitely can be mischievous things that are percolating in the background. But I say definitely, like, now is the time to try new things and to be outside and meet new people, because with outer planets where they're at and things like that, like, you have a chance to like sample various timelines and then commit to a journey and go outside and try things.
I love that. I love that as the last message, and just us being able to sample a couple things this year before, you know, we move to Jupiter and Cancer and have something more cardinal. So I love that as a last message to go out. So be outside, meet new people, gain new skills, y'all. Try on different mindsets, expand your belief system, you know, speak up, say what you really mean. This is definitely the year to do that. So thank y'all so much again for gracing us with your presence and your knowledge and your wisdom. And I can't wait to do this again. Bye, y'all. Okay, everybody. So thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you still here. This is amazing. I love that you guys are always here with me, and with all of the wonderful astrologers that we have. I just want to remind y'all last time that we are doing a free masterclass tonight, all about creating a standout brand, understanding the mindset behind being magnetic and memorable as fuck, how to connect with your audience, how to convert your audience, and how to stand out in a sea full of fishes who all look the same, who are all doing the same thing. Tonight is the night. So 8:30 p.m. EST. The form should be somewhere in the chat, and I hope to see y'all there. So thank y'all so much for joining another episode of Success with the Stars, and we will see you next time. Bye.